Stay tuned back into the Outwork Show. Seven the Poet, JJ and myself. Next, we have Out Front with Nikki Woods. Today, Nikki Woods talks with a doctor and professor who has created revolutionary laser treatment for people battling cancer.
Ooh.
She's out front with Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green. Nikki, how you doing?
Yes.
I'm good, and I'm glad you got it. You got the name perfectly. Spot on.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Spot on. Good for you. How is everybody?
We're doing great.
Good? You cold down there?
Nah, it's cool. It's all right.
The snow is gone.
Okay, good. Good. There's a little snow where Dr. Green is. She's in Atlanta, so they got some snow, too. Welcome to the show, Dr. Green.
Thank you so much for having me, Nikki. It's truly a pleasure to be here. I'm honored and excited.
Well, I'm honored and excited, too, and Al gave you a little bit of an introduction. Now, we probably wouldn't have time to go into the whole spiel because you have done some really amazing things. The biggest probably, or the most significant to us all, is that you have indeed invented this revolutionary laser procedure that leaves little to no side effects. So I really want to start here because you've made quite, a great amount of strides in the whole cancer research and treatment department. Why did you choose to do that as opposed to focus on some other aspect of medicine?
So it's interesting. I have all three of my degrees in physics, and after receiving my first degree in physics, I had my aunt and uncle who raised me. They both had bouts of cancer, and my aunt said that she would rather die than experience the side effects of chemo and radiation. I was her primary caregiver the last 3 months of her life, so I got to see firsthand how devastating cancer was for her. Then 3 months after she passed, my uncle who raised me was diagnosed with cancer, and I was his caregiver as he went through chemo and radiation. And I saw firsthand the horrors of cancer and the horrors of cancer treatments and said there has to be a better way. And then for the last 12 years now, I've dedicated my life to changing the way cancer is treated. Like you mentioned, the treatment that I developed doesn't have any observed side effects in mice. It's a single 10-minute treatment. And to my knowledge, it's working better than any pharmaceutical agent did at this point in the research and development stage in the laboratory.
And that's awesome. Congratulations. And I looked at a lot of different interviews, and, of course, I'm really familiar with you, super proud of you. But I am really not into, the medical terminology. So pretending we're all fifth graders, explain to us exactly what this new treatment is.
So it's a targeted local therapy that treats just the tumor and not the rest of the body. So if you can imagine having one house on fire, usually chemo would be the equivalent of trying to put water over the whole city to put one house on fire out. My treatment can come in and zoom in just on the one house on fire without getting water on the rest of the neighbors.
Now, thank you for breaking that down. And I think it's interesting. I mean, I think probably, 98%, if not more, of us have dealt either with cancer ourselves or we have a friend or family member or know somebody that has dealt with it. And I had an older family member who recently, about a year ago, died from cancer, and he refused treatment of any kind. And he was of the generation, like the Tuskegee experiment generation, and he just did not want to fool with chemicals and treatment at all.
My aunt.
Yeah. So what do you say to people who do have that skepticism of going through any kind of treatment?
Well, it depends on if they're early stage or late stage. If cancer is detected early, you have a much higher likelihood that chemotherapy and radiation will be effective. But if your cancer goes undetected and you present at the late stages, then 95% of chemotherapy and radiation is ineffective with stage 4 cancer. So I understand the sentiment of I'd rather die on my own terms without being so sick from experiencing the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. If you're not strong, if the cancer is not early stage, your chances of surviving chemotherapy are slim. So you're battling two things, not just the cancer, but the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. And if you've ever talked to a cancer patient who's gone through chemo and radiation, it's hard. The pain, the nausea, the feeling of being burned on the skin with the radiation, the hair loss is just one of the superficial things that we can see, but how they feel, that was the initial inspiration for me to say, we've got to do something about these side effects. It seems to me, with all due respect to the pharmaceutical industry, it seems barbaric how we treat cancer patients. And I figured if I could be that one little voice to shine light on this, literally with my laser, and give accuracy and targeting with the precision of a laser pointer to treating cancer, we could just eliminate the tumor without having those side effects throughout the whole body.
Right.
And when the idea came to me, it's like, if we could have a satellite in outer space communicate with just one cell phone in a room full of people, why can't we have that kind of precision when we're treating cancer in a person and target just the tumor?
That's
and
amazing.
That was,
and I have to say, I mean, you're brilliant. You're one of, I think there are less than 100 black female physicists in the country, and you happen to be one of them. You also won a $1.1 million grant to help develop your patent-pending technology for this. What do you say to young women, especially of color, when they want to pursue a dream that most people don't even understand? What advice do you give them?
So, first of all, I always say follow your heart. I believe dreams are divinely inspired, and if you have a dream, that's meant for you. That's your divine assignment. And no obstacles, nothing that comes in your path should discourage you, no matter how hard it gets. Because I've had too many breakthroughs the day or the week after I almost gave up. And I had a cousin who used to tell me when I would call crying about racism or different obstacles that I would face, and she said, what if you were the only person on the planet who could do this and you didn't do it?
Right. That's amazing.
And it gives each of us a sense of responsibility to humanity to be obedient to our dreams. You can't give up on them.
No, and we are so glad you have not. You also, in 2016, founded the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, to translate your treatment or to get the funding from the laboratory into hospitals through donations and support. And I know you've been in the middle of an amazing social media campaign. Where can we find more information on that?
So the easiest way is to text ORA, O-R-A, to 71777. That's texting ORA to 71777. And that gives you video and information about the work we're doing and a platform to donate and also to become a fundraiser to help us stay independent of the pharmaceutical industry. So at the end of the day, when this is offerable at the hospitals and covered by the insurance companies, it's affordable for everyday people. And that is central to our mission at the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, to have not just effective treatment, which that's checked off the list now, but something that's affordable and accessible for everyday people. And this is something that's my give back to humanity for not having student loans when I went through college and being on full scholarships the whole time, to say, if I can stay independent of the pharmaceutical industry with the inspiration of the Susan G. Komen, who raises like $250 million a year with no strings attached. And awareness is important, but to have a treatment that is effective and to have the capacity as a foundation to change the way cancer is treated and just need the financial support. We have oncologists who are lined up ready to do our clinical trials, and it's heartbreaking, but we have cancer patients who call us and email us and send us messages on all forms of social media daily who have been sent home to die. And it's heartbreaking to tell them, I haven't raised enough money yet to start the clinical trial. And I'm hoping that people who hear this interview and the people in your networks will say, we can do something in our lifetime about cancer. And it may not come from the big organizations and the big institutions who think that there's one way that cancer should be treated, but maybe there are some other ways that we can look at this. And this treatment that I've developed is something that's viable that we need to give a chance.
Well, I am super proud of you, as I'm sure a ton of people are. You really are a bright, shining light, and so gracious with your time and your energy. And, you know, today, just know that you are super appreciated for the work that you're doing, because it's going to affect lives for generations to come. So thank you so much. I am going to donate in my uncle's name. And I just, you know, as I told you initially, whatever I can do to support you, definitely will do. So thank you so much, Dr. Green.
Thank you, and I just want to add how tangible this goal is. We really only need 300,000 people to commit $100 or $10 a month. That will get us to our goal to get through phase 2 clinical trials.
All right.
Before we go, Nikki,
Yes.
Nikki,
Yes,
before we
yes.
go, could I ask Doc a question?
Sure, of course.
Dr. Green, I'm hearing you talk, and I mean, every word exudes how passionate you are about this topic. I mean, and cancer is big, it's global, you know, and from a layman's standpoint, we don't get it. We just know that it's overwhelming, it's big, it's this big giant that we seem to not be able to tackle. But here it is, you have done that. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, what does your life look like? You know, I mean, forgive me if I'm overstepping my bounds, like, but like that certainly has to be a level of dedication that most people can't muster in regular, average, you know, day-to-day schedules. Like, I mean, like what?
So I'm happy to give insight. When I was in graduate school developing this treatment, most of my days were 20 hours long. Most of the time I worked 7 days a week. And when I wasn't in the laboratory, I was either at church or at the gym. And I didn't have much of a social life at all.
You're a church girl and you work out. That's great. That's and she's smart. You know, and we were sitting over here talking about like, you know, how do you approach her? I'm curing cancer. What are you doing?
As a single guy?
I mean,
Seven.
anybody.
Seven. You just ask Kim Fields for her phone number. Please don't ask her for her
I'm
phone
not
number.
gonna ask this. I'm not gonna ask Dr. Green.
Don't mind us. Go ahead.
Dr. Green, I have a lot of respect for what you do.
This is
And
probably the funniest question I've ever gotten in an interview.
And she's super cute. I don't know if you've seen her picture.
yes,
Yeah,
And-
he's already Googled her.
And
He's
Sarah
already
is
Googled
super
her.
for real about this.
He's
So-
already Googled her, Nikki. He knows the school she went to. He knows how old she is. He's trying to research and see if she has
Go
a
ahead, Seven,
fiance
just
or a
do
husband.
it.
nah, man, it wasn't like that.
I do not.
See?
I see what
Oh, this
happened
shame.
was I told Seven, you need to like really step your game up when it comes to women. And so then you over here talking about curing cancer, and he's like, oh, well then this is it
look.
right here.
She went to Xavier.
See,
so
look.
you're on Bourbon Street and you run into Nicole.
Yeah.
Hey Nicole, what's up? Oh, I just cured cancer. What are you? What's your?
And you over here trying to take her to Applebee's. And like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Nah.
So Nicole, we're gonna take this conversation off the radio so that he can make his move. And
Because he was trying. If you want to stay on hold, and then he's gonna pick up the phone
Just
and
hold on.
talk to you.
just hold on.
So he was trying to figure out, because he's like, man, is she married? Is she got fiance? I say you don't got time. She ain't got time right now.
And you know, the funny thing is, my advisors have told me I can't get married until I finish fundraising.
See what I'm saying?
Seven is a good volunteer.
He's a good volunteer.
He's a good volunteer.
Seven definitely knows
Seven
how to
can
get
help
that money.
you. And he's a church going guy.
She's curing
Sometimes.
cancer. She's curing cancer.
My question is, does
church
Seven
one.
remember the number to text to donate to the cancer?
There you go. Are you
No,
gonna
he's gonna- he's
post
gonna-
it on Facebook so we know it's real, Seven?
Seven's gonna bring his check. He's gonna
Not
bring
only
his
will
check
I-
to Atlanta.
My mother is a cancer survivor, and not only will I donate my dimes, I'll donate my time.
All right.
Ooh. So
That's not game. He's for real, girl.
for real, I'm gonna actually be in Atlanta on the 21st. You want to go with me?
We can go.
So Hadiyah, we're gonna be in Atlanta.